Subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to never miss an update.
Hello everyone, welcome to Inside Delhi. I am back again with another session. In this session, we are going to have a discussion about the physical geography test, prelims test. This test paper, physical geography and natural phenomena, very basic level test. This test again comprised 80 questions. This test paper comprised 80 questions from the static part, physical geography, and the remaining 20 questions are from current affairs of the period as mentioned in your detailed schedule. These 80 questions are actually very basic level questions, very basic, as I keep emphasizing in all my sessions that basic level means to check whether you know the basic concepts, basic facts or not. Because these basic concepts, NCERT level concepts, NCERT level facts are actually hold very much importance in this UPSC exam, particularly in prelims. So we will be discussing all the 100 questions, 80 plus 20. So let's start. The first question is about Earth's rotation. Now, there are two very basic movements of Earth when we study geography. In the initial chapters itself, we understand this. Two very basic movements. One is called revolution and one is called rotation. What is revolution and what is rotation? So, when the Earth is passing throughout the Sun on its axis. So, this is Sun and this is the axis of Earth. Sorry, this is orbit of Earth, not axis. This is orbit of Earth. So, when the Earth is passing on its orbit around the Sun, चक्कर लगा रही है, सूरज के चारों तरफ चक्कर लगा रही है. So, this is called revolution. वो वाला revolution नहीं, क्रांति वाला revolution है. Revolution means, in terms of geography, revolution means Earth revolving around the Sun in its orbit. Okay. Then another term is called rotation. Rotation means Earth is moving around its axis. Earth है अपनी axis पे it is moving. गोल गोल घूमना, that is called rotation. So rotation and revolution, these two movements of Sun have a very vast impact on how the climate, atmosphere, life, habitat, everything is functioning, working on Earth. So the question is about Earth's rotation. It causes, it matlab Earth's rotation. Earth's rotation causes the daily or diurnal variation in daylight and air temperature. Yes, this is very much true. Because of this rotation, understand this way, Earth, a particular part of Earth is facing the Sun. Okay, and the part which is facing the Sun, that will be having daylight because सूरज की रोशनी आ रही तो daylight है वहाँ पे. And the part which is not facing the Sun, this will be having no sunlight, so it will be having night. But this phase, this stage is not constant. Earth will be rotating on its axis. So this part of Earth which is currently facing Sun, after 12 hours, that part will become backside where there will be no sunlight, and the part of the Earth which is at this moment not facing the Sun, that part will come in front of Sun. तो जिधर से रोशनी आ गई, जिधर उजाला हो गया, जिधर सूरज की रोशनी आ गई, that part will become daytime, and the part where there is no sunlight, that will become night time. So, if the question is saying that it causes the daily or diurnal variation in daylight and air temperature, this is correct. Second statement is it results in the consistent deflection. अब ये term पता होना चाहिए आपको. What is deflection of air and water? For this, you should understand a very basic term called Coriolis force. Coriolis force. Because of this rotation of Earth, the air and water on the Earth's surface face a special force called Coriolis force. What happens is that suppose this is Earth and Earth is rotating, then, and this is like equator, this is northern hemisphere and this is southern hemisphere. So because the Earth is rotating, the air and water in the northern hemisphere get deflected, मतलब उनका direction बदल जाता है, get deflected towards west in northern hemisphere and towards east in southern hemisphere. तो deflected मतलब because of this Coriolis force the direction gets deflected. किसका direction? Air and water का. So this Coriolis force is actually getting affected because of Earth's rotation. So this statement is also correct. Question is asking about correct statements. Option C will be your correct answer. Next question is about statements are given. Question is talking about can be attributed to tilt of Earth's axis and its revolution. So revolution to we just discussed. Rotation also we knew. Another feature of Earth's axis you can say is that it's tilt. Earth is tilted as Earth is not straight. So Earth is tilted slightly on its axis. This is Earth's axis. Earth is tilted. So what the question is asking you, question is giving you three conditions, three statements, and question is asking out of these three which can be attributed to the tilt and revolution both. Tilt और revolution की वजह से कौन-कौन सी चीजें हो रही हैं? This is the demand of this is the something what question is asking. So occurrence of seasons, yes, seasons do occur because of this tilt and revolution. Unequal duration of day and night, yes. A while ago when we were discussing this image, so Earth's orbit is not perfect circle. It's a kind of a bit elliptical. Elliptical का मतलब दो तरीके की चीज हो सकती है. एक तो circle, another is elliptical. So this is elliptical and this is circle. Earth's orbit is elliptical. Elliptical का मतलब there are certain places when the Earth is closer to Sun and there are certain places when the Earth is farther to Sun. Far, this is near. Because of this, farther and near, and plus the Earth is also tilted on its axis, means there are certain stages, there are certain phases, there are certain times, certain period when the tilted because of its tilt, the northern hemisphere will be having more sunlight. There are other times when the southern hemisphere will be having more sunlight. So because of all these, the duration of day and night over the year are unequal throughout the Earth. So both these statements are actually correct. The apparent westward movement of the sun. Apparent का मतलब क्या होता है? It appears that sun is rising in the east and setting in the west. But sun is actually not moving. It is the Earth which is rotating. अर्थ जब रोटेट कर रहा है तो इट अपीयर्स टू अस ह्यूमंस inhabiting the earth, हमें ऐसा लगता है कि the sun is moving, but sun is static, sun अपनी जगह पे ही है. But because of this rotation, because of this earth's rotation, a while ago just we discussed ना यहाँ पे, that because of this rotation sometimes daylight is here, night time is that side. So this is because of earth's rotation that we feel that sun and stars are moving. So this statement is not correct because this action, this incident, this event can be attributed, most appropriately be attributed to rotation. Third statement is mostly connected to rotation, but the question is talking about revolution and tilt. So third is not correct. 1 and 2 will be your correct answer. Then we have the third question regarding equatorial region of Earth. What is equatorial region? Equatorial region, region around the equator. अब equator का क्या होता है? अब this is Earth. Scientists ने क्या किया? They drew a imaginary line that you can say कि divides the earth in two equal parts, north और south में. This is an imaginary मतलब scientists or early geographers like imagined something because of its own utility. They drew a line that bisects the earth in two parts, northern and southern. और इसको इन्होंने नाम क्या दे दिया? They called it equator. इसके साथ साथ they also drew lines called latitudes, longitudes, meridians. They also drew Tropic of Capricorn, Tropic of Cancer, Arctic Circle, Antarctic Circle. This type of, like, these all are imaginary lines to locate certain places, and they have their other utilities. But अभी हमें उधर नहीं जाना है. So the equator was drawn to divide the earth in two equal parts, northern and southern hemisphere. The region around equator is called equatorial region. Means around 5, 10, 20 degrees north and south, they are called equatorial region. The question is about equatorial region. The equatorial region of the earth slightly bulges outward. Is it true? Yes. So the equatorial earth is not a complete sphere. Complete sphere नहीं है earth. Okay, circle तो बना नहीं है. Still, let me try one more time whether I can draw a circle. So this is earth is a little bit more kind of circle, you can say. So earth is not a perfect circle, perfect sphere. Circle तो कहना गलत होगा. Earth is not a perfect sphere. Earth is kind of a spheroid. मतलब ये वाला जो region है, this region is slightly bulged. Okay. So if we say that the equatorial region of the earth slightly bulges outward, bulges मतलब फूला हुआ है, बाहर की तरफ निकला हुआ है, bulges outward compared to the polar region. So this statement is correct. The centrifugal force due to Earth's rotation slightly reduces the effect of gravity at the equator. This question is actually testing this statement is actually testing 2 or 3 concepts. First concept is centrifugal force. What is centrifugal force? Second question is role of rotation, Earth's rotation in centrifugal force and on effect of gravity. Also, this question is testing whether the effect of gravity is different at equator versus poles. क्या अर्थ की जो ग्रेविटी है, is the gravity of earth is having different effects near the poles and the equator? So these 3 or 4 things, the question, one statement is trying to test you. So this statement is correct actually, because of this centrifugal force actually the equator is having statement is slightly reduces the effect of gravity. So yes, Earth's rotation generates centrifugal force. This is the true. Earth's rotation generates centrifugal force, a kind of force getting generated because of rotation of Earth, which is maximum at the equator. This centrifugal force is maximum at the equator and nearly zero at poles. And because of this, effect of gravity is slightly reduced near the equator as compared to poles. This statement is also correct. Both these statements are correct. Option C is your answer. Okay, 4 situations are being given and the question is asking कि if Earth's axis had been perfectly circular, Earth's orbit has been perfectly circular instead of elliptical के बजाय अगर Earth's orbit would have been circular, perfectly circular, then इन चारों में से क्या होगा? See, Earth's orbit is elliptical, not circular. What would happen if had it been like completely circular? So, सबसे पहली बात यहाँ पे the first statement is saying no significant change in Earth's climate. As we discussed a while ago, because of this elliptical orbit, There are certain places when Earth comes very much closer to Sun, and there are certain places when Earth goes farther from the Sun. To this elliptical orbit, if you add the concepts and facts regarding tilt of axis and rotation, then you will realize that, then you will understand that the climate of Earth actually changes. So because of this tilt, when there are stages, times of year, months of year, when the northern hemisphere is having more sunlight, so there are summer in northern hemisphere, there are then at that time winter in southern hemisphere, then there are periods of year, when months of year when there is winter in northern hemisphere and summer in southern hemisphere. So all this is happening actually because of all these factors: tilt on axis, rotation, and this elliptical orbit. So this is statement to say that no significant change in Earth's climate, this is not correct. The variations between seasons would be less pronounced. Yes, would be less pronounced. Would be less means there are chances. This option is talking about chances, and the question is asking about most likely to occur. क्वेश्चन कंफर्म नहीं कह रहा है, क्वेश्चन संभावना बता रहा है कि इसमें से क्या संभावना है कि मोस्ट लाइकली टू अकर. So would be less pronounced. So this option is your correct answer. Then we have internal structure of Earth. Next question is about internal structure. Sial Seema together. Sial. Sial. क्या मतलब होता है सियाल का? Understand this way. This Si and this Al. Si means silica and Al means aluminium. Now this Seema also means silica, and this Ma means magnesium. These are elements. So Sial, Seema. Then there is one more called Nife. Ni, Nife means it is a short form of nickel. And ferrous is short form of, you can say, iron. अब है क्या ये? These are like elements found. क्या composition कहाँ पे है? So this is Earth. If you scientists like revealed it. So inside, this is the core of Earth, inner core or outer core. This entire area is core of Earth. This area is mantle. Mantle. And above the mantle, this is crust. The Sial and Seema together constitute the Earth's crust. This statement is correct. Then second statement is Sial is denser than Sial. Seema is denser than Sial and primarily forms the oceanic crust. Both these statements are correct. The mantle is composed mainly of dense rocks such as olivine-rich peridotite. This is also correct. The core, also called Nife, is primarily made up of iron and nickel. Iron and nickel, we just elaborated. Iron and nickel, this statement is also correct. All the four are correct. Option D will be your correct answer. So this is a cross section, you can say. So the crust, mantle has Seema and some part of crust is also having Seema, and Sial is only on crust. So this is the cross section you can see. So this part is Seema, this part is Sial. Core is having Nife. So this is the cross section of Earth to memorize few facts very easily. Elemental composition of Earth's crust. Oxygen is the most abundant element. Yes, this is the most abundant element, oxygen. You should be mindful over here because this question is about Earth's crust, not atmosphere. अगर Earth's atmosphere की बात करेंगे तो फिर ऑक्सीजन नहीं आएगा वहाँ पे. but this question is Earth's crust, so this statement is correct. Hydrogen is among the least abundant elements in Earth's crust. Hydrogen is among the least abundant elements among the Earth's crust, yes. And aluminium is more abundant. Actually, aluminium is slightly more abundant, not much, but ज़्यादा तो ज़्यादा ही होता है, चाहे slightly हो या कम हो. तो all the three statements are correct. So correct answer is 1, 2 and 3. Equinox and solstice. अब ये समझना बहुत जरूरी है. क्या होता है इक्विनॉक्स, कैसे याद करें? इक्विनॉक्स, EQUI, इक्वल से इक्विनॉक्स. Equinox means everything kind of equal. So in equinox, during equinox, the duration of day and night is more or less same throughout the earth. And during solstice, this is not same. Like earth, daytime, earth, the particular regions or areas of earth will be have longer daytime as compared to other regions. होता क्या है? This is again because, understand this way, because of this revolution of earth and also its tilt and rotation. So क्या याद करने वाली चीज है? याद करने वाली चीज है कि इक्विनॉक्स तो हमने जान लिया. वी अंडरस्टूड इक्विनॉक्स इज more or less same length of day and night throughout the earth, and solstice is longer duration of days than as compared in particular place as compared to other places. दूसरी काम की चीज है, होता कब है? मार्च and September. March and September are near around 22nd March and 22nd are near around September. These are the period when equinox happens. Why it happens? Sun is coming, Earth is coming closer to the sun because of its elliptical orbit. We just discussed a while ago. So during equinox, what happens? The rays of sun are coming directly overhead to the equator. This is equator, okay, and this is Tropic of Cancer, this is Tropic of Capricorn, Cancer, okay. So this sunlight is coming directly overhead the equator, and a while ago we discussed that equator is the middle central line dividing earth in two places. तो अगर central line पे earth light sunlight आ रहा है तो obviously it is expected that it will be spread equally in both the spheres. Likewise, in September also it happens, earth comes directly to equator, so that's why it's equinox. But what happens in solstice when it is June and December? जून में क्या होता है हमारे यहाँ मतलब इंडिया में? Which season is in June? Season is called summer. क्यों summer? Because the Tropic of Cancer passes through India. The sunlight is overhead on Tropic of Cancer. जो Tropic of Cancer पे sunlight overhead है, it means the northern sphere of the earth is having more sunlight, and summer happens in northern hemisphere. And also because the more sunlight is coming in northern hemisphere, so the duration of days is longer in northern hemisphere. तो गर्मियों में आपने देखा होगा कि गर्मियों में दिन जो होते हैं बड़े होते हैं, रातें थोड़ी छोटी होती है, शाम भी होती है, बहुत देर से होती है, because the sunlight is very much focused, sunlight is very much incident in northern hemisphere. But जो दिसंबर होता है, when it comes to December, when it is winter in India, like जो हमारे यहाँ सर्दियों का मौसम है, that time में the sunlight is more focused, more incidental on Tropic of Capricorn. Tropic of Capricorn is in southern hemisphere. So जब ज़्यादा sunlight southern hemisphere में जा रहा है, means the duration of day is longer in southern hemisphere. So there are 4 dates important to be remembered. 2 dates for equinox, 2 dates for solstice. Equinox means daytime and nighttime are more or less similar throughout the earth. Solstice means daytime is longer in one region of the earth and in the another solstice, daytime is longer in the second region of the earth, that is northern and southern hemisphere. Dates याद रखने हैं आपको. March and September is for equinox and June and December for solstice. Solstice को आप ऐसे याद कर सकते हो कब गर्मी पड़ रही है ज़्यादा, कब सर्दी हो रही है भारत में. If the सर्दी is the it is the summer season in India near around June, तो आप मान के चलो it's June solstice. एंड सर्दियों का मौसम है इंडिया में नियर अराउंड दिसंबर, सो दैट इज अनदर समर सोल्स्टिस फॉर इंडिया फॉर नॉर्दर्न हेमिस्फीयर. डेट्स नियर अराउंड सबके सेम ही रहेंगे, 21, 22, 22, 22, 22. चारों महीने में डेट्स मोर और लेस सेम रहेंगे. दीज आर सम बेसिक फैक्ट्स विच आई वांटेड यू टू रिमेंबर. सो द क्वेश्चन इज difference between equinox and solstice. What is the difference between equinox and solstice? During the solstice, days and night are of equal duration. नहीं, solstice में तो equal duration नहीं होना. So this statement is not correct. A solstice marks the point when the sun is directly above the equator. Directly above the equator, this is the feature of equinox, not solstice. So this statement is also not correct. Then we have an equinox occurs when day and night are nearly equal. Day and night are nearly equal. Equinox equal in length everywhere, while a solstice marks the longest, shortest day of the year. So this is your correct answer. Regarding latitude, question is about latitude and longitude. So understand this first. Suppose this is Earth, equator. Equator is a latitude. Okay. Equator is a latitude, then Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn, latitude. Longitude, this is like north, south में division हो रहा है, that is called latitude. When the there are other imaginary lines as well. Other imaginary lines connect the poles. So these are in north-south orientation. So these are called longitude. So latitude and longitude. Long, जो लंबा है, so that is longitude and latitude. This question is about latitude. Please ensure. Rainfall, temperature and natural vegetation show variation with latitude. ऐसा होता है क्या? Because of latitude, क्या वेरिएशन है? Obviously है. The more we are going farther from equator, अगर हम नॉर्थ की तरफ जा रहे हैं तो सर्दियाँ हो रही हैं ज़्यादा, बर्फ का माहौल हो गया at near the poles, and near the equator there is very much hot summer. So yes, and accordingly natural vegetation, temperature, everything is varying because of latitude. This statement is correct. The difference between the length of the longest day and the shortest day increases as one moves from the equator. This statement is also correct. Indira Point. This statement is regarding Indira Point. Indira Point used to be the southernmost point, southernmost territorial position of India, but this Indira Point got submerged due to the 2004 tsunami. Indira Point is located this latitude. This is the approximate location of Indira Point, approximate latitudinal information of Indira Point. This statement is also correct. All three are correct statements. Next question is about equator. Equator passes through both Africa and South America. Yes, correct. Equator passes through more countries than the Tropic of Cancer. Actually, equator passes through nearly 11 countries and Tropic of Cancer passes through nearly 17 countries. So equator is not more, it is less than the Tropic of Cancer. That makes this statement not correct. Tropic of Cancer passes through India, Saudi Arabia, Mexico. This is correct. So 1 and 3 are your correct answer. Next question is regarding meridians. All meridians run in true north-south. So what we discussed a while ago, the longitudes. So the longitudes they are actually also called meridians. So north-south, the movie north-south, true. Meridians are spaced farthest apart at the equator. Yes, this is correct. All meridians are parallel. Meridians are not parallel to each other because they meet at the poles. Parallel का मतलब क्या होता है? The distance between the two lines remains equal, same throughout. But in case of meridian, it is not happening because in the case of meridians, all the meridians meet at the poles. They meet at the poles. So this is not correct. And indefinite number of meridians, yes, it is an imaginary line. Indefinite number of meridians can be drawn on the globe. 1, 2, and 4. Question is talking about not correct. So only one is not correct. Continental drift theory. Alfred Wegener's continental drift theory. This theory was supported by jigsaw fit of coastlines of continents like South America and Africa. Continental drift theory, the theory given by Alfred Wegener, says that the continents have actually drifted. So if you look at South America, and Africa, they more or less look same like. So it is like jigsaw fit of the coastlines. This fits over here. So this statement is correct. The similarity of fossils, yes, this is also there is similarity of fossils. The theory proposed that mountains formed due to drifting and collision of continents, yes. So these are actually very basic 3 statements. All the 3 statements are correct. You can read these statements and you can understand all these 3 actually define and elaborate the continental drift theory. So very basic question. You can read and understand. So all the 3 are correct. Then we have a question on lithospheric plates. Lithospheric plates, the plates are made up of both continental and oceanic crust. Yes, correct. Individual plates are not permanent features of Earth's lithosphere. This is also correct. Plates are in constant motion and continuously change in shape and size. All the 3 statements are correct. D is the correct answer. Mountain range and location. Altai Mountains, Mongolia, Apennines, Italy. Great Dividing Range, Australia. Taurus is Turkey. All 4 are correctly matched. All 4 are correctly matched. So D is the correct answer. Characteristics regarding earthquakes. Earthquakes occur only along plate boundaries where tectonic plates interact directly. No, earthquakes need not happen only along plate boundaries. This statement is not correct. Earthquakes can happen inside like plates, not necessarily at the boundary of plates. Reservoir induced seismicity. Reservoir induced मतलब कहीं डैम बना हुआ है, बहुत ज़्यादा पानी जमा है, ऐसा रिजर्वायर, उसकी वजह से also like earthquakes can happen because of changes in stress patterns due to weight of stored water. So this is correct. Seismic waves travel faster through solid materials than through liquids. Seismic wave velocity is actually higher in solids, travel faster in solids. Okay, so this statement is also correct. 1, 2, and 3, D is your correct answer. Endogenic and exogenic. Endogenic का मतलब something happening inside. Exogenic means something happening outside. Endogenic forces are responsible for creating initial landforms, while exogenic forces, yes, endogenic initial landforms form because of endogenic forces, and exogenic forces की वजह से those landforms get modified. Volcanoes, earthquakes, and orogeny. Here the term you should remember is orogeny. So all these are actually not exogenic processes. Volcanoes, earthquakes, orogeny are examples of endogenic, not exo. So that makes this statement not correct. You will have to be very much careful while reading the statements. So weathering, erosion and mass movements are classified as exogenic. Yes, they are happening outside the earth on the surface, not inside. So 1 and 3 are correct. Option A is your correct answer. Next question is about volcanic activity. Question regarding volcanic activity. Volcanoes are located at boundaries of tectonic plates, where two plates, yes. The question is about volcanoes are located at the boundaries. So it is a generic statement. Most of the volcanoes are found at the boundaries of tectonic plates. You should not think. We are prone to do overthinking while reading the statements. There will be instances, will be students who will think कि सारे volcanoes तो boundaries tectonic plates के boundary पे है नहीं. Then they will think that this statement is not correct. But that approach is wrong, because the question is not asking that volcanoes are located only. अगर यहाँ पे only हो जाता, then this statement would have become wrong. But it is not written only here, so that makes this statement correct. Some volcanoes can form away from plate boundaries. The thing which I was describing can form. Yes, they can form away from plate boundaries. This statement is also not correct. This statement is correct. This question is asking about not correct. So both are correct. Neither 1 nor 2 will be your answer. Next is about question is about ring of fire. Ring of fire. It is also known as circum-Pacific belt of volcanoes. Yes. It is an active seismic zone with frequent earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. It is predominantly zone of divergent plate boundaries. Actually, it is not divergent, it is convergent. So that makes this statement not correct. Only 2 are correct. Next is we have question on denudation processes. Denudation process, the climate, atmospheric forces and human activities influence the rate and nature of denudation. Climate, yes, this is true. Like all these actually influence climate, atmospheric forces, human activities. All these influence the rate and nature of denudation. This is correct. Weathering, mass movement, erosion and orogenesis are all considered denudational processes. Here the key term, ये तो पता होगा, weathering, mass movement, erosion. But what is this orogenesis? This is the key term. If you know orogenesis, then you can decide whether this statement is right or wrong. So orogenesis is a mountain building process. It is a tectonic process and it is not a denudational one, because denudation includes weathering, mass movement, erosion. So orogenesis is a mountain building process. Mountain building process है, and that is not part of denudational. Denudational मतलब तोड़फोड़ करके चीज़ों को बराबर करना, formation of landforms because of weathering and mass movement. So this statement is not correct, because it is saying that orogenesis is also a denudational process. Orogenesis is not a denudational process. So second statement is not correct. Question is talking about not correct. We have next question on weathering of rocks. Question is on weathering of rocks. Physical weathering through frost action is most pronounced in regions where, yes, if the daily temperature fluctuates above and below the freezing point, so what will happen, that fluctuation in temperature on daily basis, so the freezing of point means कभी बर्फ जम गई, then it will expand, then it will again melt. So that will actually lead to physical weathering. So this is a very good example of physical weathering. One is correct. In deserts, physical weathering dominates due to intense diurnal temperature variation. Yes, this is also correct. Both are correct. Next question is about erosional landforms. Fluvial erosion primarily leads to formation of V-shaped valleys, whereas glacial erosion produces U-shaped valleys. Yes, this is correct. Cirques and moraines are associated with river erosion. Cirques and moraines are not related to river, they are related to Glaciers. That makes this statement not correct. Only one is correct. Next question is on types of rocks. Types of rocks. Igneous rocks often display banded structure. Banded and foliated structures are not a feature of igneous rocks because banded or folded appearance is a hallmark of metamorphic rocks. Metamorphic rocks का है वो, igneous का नहीं है. That's why statement 1 is not correct. Sedimentary rocks are formed by accumulation of sediments in layers. Very basic definition of sedimentary rocks. Metamorphic rocks form under heat and pressure. When the structure features of a rock transforms, changes due to heat and pressure, that is called metamorphic rocks. So 2 and 3 are correct. C is your correct answer. Next question is on different types of rocks. Gabbro, basalt are examples of igneous rocks. Yes, this is true. Granite is an intrusive igneous rock rich in quartz. This is also. So these are some basic rocks. All these statements seem to be correct. Gneiss is formed throughout the metamorphism. Through the metamorphism, yes, this is also correct. So these are actually different types of rocks. You can like remember these, and their types are, these two are types of igneous rocks. This is a type of igneous rock. This is a form of metamorphism, metamorphic rocks. These are other types of rocks as well. So all the three are correct. Next question is on Earth's atmosphere. Which of the following statements regarding the vertical extent of Earth's atmosphere is correct? Vertical extent. क्वेश्चन है एटमॉस्फेयर का, तो नीचे कौन सा लेवल, ट्रोपोस्फेयर, स्ट्रेटोस्फेयर, मेसोस्फेयर, एक्सोस्फेयर, दिस टाइप ऑफ related, this question related to that topic. The atmosphere has definite upper limits? No, the upper limits are not at all definite, they vary. So this is not correct. The atmosphere has no definite upper limits? Yes, but gradually thins until it becomes imperceptible. Yes, it gradually thins and becomes imperceptible. So what is here is that Earth's atmosphere, you should understand this way, that Earth's atmosphere does not have a clearly defined upper boundary. कोई clearly defined upper boundary नहीं है Earth's atmosphere का. They are actually gradual. The Earth's atmosphere gradually becomes thinner with altitude and merges into outer space. So this statement is correct and this is your answer. Lapse rate. What is lapse rate? Three statements are given. The normal lapse rate refers to, two statements are given. The normal lapse rate refers to the average rate at which temperature decreases with increase in altitude. Yes, temperature decreases as their eyes increase in altitude. जैसे जैसे हम ऊंचाई पे जा रहे हैं वैसे वैसे that we experience reduction in temperature. This is called lapse rate. One is correct. In a temperature inversion, the lapse rate becomes higher than normal lapse rate. Temperature inversion is when the lapse rate becomes lower than the normal lapse rate. This statement is not correct because in a temperature inversion, temperature increases with height, meaning lapse rate becomes negative, not higher. This is not correct. So only 1A is your answer. Next question is around different layers of atmosphere again. The temperature increases with altitude. Temperature increases with altitude in the stratosphere. Okay, yes, this statement is correct. Temperature increases with altitude in the stratosphere. The mesosphere is the coldest layer of the atmosphere. This is also correct. The thermosphere contains ionosphere. This is also correct. Troposphere is characterized by temperature inversion and absence of weather phenomena. It is saying absence of weather phenomena. Troposphere is the only layer of Earth's atmosphere where weather phenomena occur. So it is the troposphere is the only sphere, only layer of Earth's atmosphere where weather phenomena actually occur. So to say that there is absence of weather phenomena, this makes this statement not correct. So how many are correct? Only 3 are correct. Next question is regarding tropopause. Tropopause acts as a boundary layer between troposphere and stratosphere. This is correct. Tropopause जो है, there is a boundary layer between stratosphere और troposphere के बीच की एक boundary line है tropopause. The height of the tropopause is uniform. No, it's not uniform across the globe. It is not uniform. Height of the tropopause is not uniform. The height is like mostly higher at the equator and lower near the poles. So this is not uniform. Third statement, weather related activities are generally confined below tropopause. This statement is correct because all weather related phenomena actually restricted in the troposphere and that is below tropopause. So 1 and 3 are correct. C is your correct answer. With respect to intensity of insolation received at Earth's surface, the angle of sun's rays determines the concentration of insolation on Earth's surface. Yes. What is the angle of sun's rays? That will determine what will be the concentration of insolation. Insolation is greater at the poles. Insolation is lower at the poles than at equator. So this statement is not correct. Cloud cover, altitude and atmospheric composition influence the amount of insolation. Yes, this is correct. 1 and 3 are correct. Option B is your correct answer. Nature of solar and terrestrial radiation. Sun emits mostly shortwave radiation. Yes, sun emits shortwave radiation because of its extremely high surface. Earth emits long wave radiation. This is correct statement. The keywords to pick in this statement, kind of lengthy statement you can say. Sun, short wave radiation. Earth, long wave radiation. The hotter the object, shorter will be its radiation. It will be having short wave. And the cooler, जितना ही टेम्परेचर कम होगा, sun is having much higher temperature than earth, so that's why it is having short wave radiation and earth emits long wave radiation. The absorption and re-radiation of solar energy by the earth's surface and atmosphere play a key role in maintaining the planet's energy balance. Both are correct, but the question is asking about not correct. So D is the answer. Regarding annual range of temperature, the question is regarding annual range of temperature. The annual range of temperature is higher in continental interiors. Yes, this is correct. The annual range of temperature is generally greater near the equator than near the tropics. Actually, equator is having same kind of temperature. So it is not that annual temperature is greater. Annual temperature is greater as we move away from the equator. The more we are farther from the equator, the higher will be the annual range of temperature. So this statement is not correct. So only 1 is your correct answer. Next question is on adiabatic temperature changes. An adiabatic process involves no exchange of heat between the air parcel and its surroundings. Yes. What is adiabatic? Process is one in which air parcel changes temperature without gaining or losing heat from the surrounding air. So this statement is not correct because no exchange. Rising air cools adiabatically due to expansion under decreasing atmospheric pressure. This is also correct. Descending air heats Adiabatically due to compression under increasing pressure. All the three are correct. Option D is your correct answer. Next question is, two statements are given regarding equatorial region. Areas lying within 5 to 8 degrees latitude on either side of the equator receive rainfall throughout the year. Yes, this is correct. High temperatures and high humidity cause convectional rain. This is one of the features of equatorial rainfall to fall mostly in the afternoons near the equator. This statement is actually explaining the first one. First one is saying that they receive rainfall throughout the year, and the second statement is saying why they receive the rainfall throughout the year. So option A is your correct answer. 60-65 degree latitudes in both hemispheres have a low pressure belt instead of high pressure. 60-65 degree latitudes in both hemispheres have a low pressure belt instead of high pressure. The low pressure areas are more permanent over oceans rather than on land. Both the statements are correct actually. Both the statements are correct, but the second statement is not explaining the first one. Why? Because the second statement explains the spatial persistence of low pressure more than the latitudinal pattern. This is about like latitudes के context में है, okay? कि this latitude, this region around this latitude have low pressure belt. Okay, this is तो correct. Low pressure areas are more permanent over oceans and land. So this is correct, but this is not talking in terms of latitude. Latitude के context में बात नहीं कर रहा the second statement. Though it is correct, but it is not in context of latitude. This is more in context of regional, मतलब horizontal level पे बताया जा रहा है कि ocean और land के context में. So this, though both these statements are correct, but this is not the correct explanation of option A, statement 1. Earth's atmosphere, the question regarding Earth's pressure gradients. Pressure gradients. It refers to the rate of change in atmospheric pressure between 2 points on the Earth's surface. Yes, this is correct. Rate of change. A steep pressure gradient results in strong winds, while a gentle gradient leads to light winds. The steeper the pressure gradient, stronger will be the winds. Pressure gradients are stronger near the equator. इक्वेटर के पास स्ट्रॉन्गर है ड्यू टू यूनिफॉर्म टेम्परेचर डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन. If the temperature distribution is uniform, there will be less impact, less difference in pressure gradients. This makes this statement not correct. Why so? Pressure gradients, because the temperature is relatively uniform there, this is saying that temperature is relatively uniform. Temperature is uniform, that is true. Temperature near the equator is mostly uniform, that is true. But it leads to weak gradients and calm conditions because stronger gradients are observed in mid-latitudes due to greater temperature contrast. जितना ही ज़्यादा टेम्परेचर का कॉन्ट्रास्ट होगा, डिफरेंस होगा, द हायर विल बी द प्रेशर ग्रेडियंट्स. अगर टेम्परेचर ही यूनिफॉर्म हो गया, इफ द टेम्परेचर इज यूनिफॉर्म, like same level of temperature, गर्मी तो गर्मी, सर्दी तो सर्दी, the gradients will also be more or less weak. So 1 and 2 is the correct. Next question is on horizontal wind circulation. Question is on wind circulation near the Earth's surface. It is influenced by pressure gradient force. Yes, it is influenced by pressure gradient force. Higher region से lower region की तरफ when the air moves, that is called wind. The Coriolis force modifies the direction. Yes, at the start itself we discussed that Coriolis force deflects the wind Frictional force is negligible at the surface. Actually, frictional force also affects horizontal wind circulation. Frictional force also affects horizontal wind circulation because it reduces the wind speed and modifies its direction. That's why 3 is not correct and only 1 and 2 are correct. Next question is regarding patterns of wind. The doldrums are low pressure area around the equator where the prevailing winds are calm. Correct. Chinook is hot and dry wind. Yes, this is also correct. Both are correct. Next question is regarding wind systems, planetary wind systems. Trade winds in both hemispheres converge near the equator, forming a low pressure belt known as intertropical convergence. So this is correct. The polar easterlies originate from the subtropical high pressure belts and blow towards polar low pressure area. This is not correct. Why so? Because the polar easterlies actually originate from polar high pressure zones, not subtropical highs. It is saying subtropical highs. Actually, they originate from polar high. तो polar high zone से they originate and they blow towards subpolar low pressure. It is saying towards low pressure. So because of this, like this statement is not correct. Question is asking about not correct statement. B will be your answer. B will be your answer. Next question is on again regarding planetary winds. Trade winds blow from subtropical highs to the equatorial low curving westward. Yes. Westerlies blow from subtropical highs to subpolar lows. This is also correct. Polar easterlies blow from equator. Polar, how will polar will blow from equator? So that makes this not correct. Are not correct. Question is talking about not correct. So one. So only one is not correct. Perfect. Question is talking about not correct. Only one is not correct. Next question is on westerlies. The southern hemisphere has less land mass compared to the northern hemisphere. Southern hemisphere is having less land mass. Yes, this is so correct. Southern hemisphere has less land mass. Coriolis force is stronger in the southern hemisphere than in the northern hemisphere. Question is about statements explain why westerlies are stronger and more persistent in the southern hemisphere. Why westerlies are more stronger and persistent in the southern hemisphere. Southern side में क्यों they are more stronger. So second statement is says that Coriolis force is stronger in the southern hemisphere than in the northern hemisphere. This is not true because Coriolis force arises from Earth's rotation, this though we know, and it is not inherently stronger in southern hemisphere. Its effect is symmetrical, like it is not stronger in southern hemisphere. This statement is not correct. Only one, A will be your answer. Chinook, Northwest India. So Chinook is not Northwest India, Low is in Northwest India. So 1 is not correct, 2 is not correct. Harmattan and Mistral are correct. Only 2 are correctly matched. Jet streams. Jet streams are narrow bands of high speed winds found near the top of the troposphere. Yes, correct. They flow from east to west. Actually, they flow from west to east. So this is not correct. Third one is influence the movement of weather system. This is correct. So 2 is not correct. 1 and 3, C is your answer. Which of the following statements most appropriately defines humidity? Humidity का definition Forms of suspended water droplets caused by condensation of atmospheric moisture. So it is like condensation. This is not correct. Deposition of atmospheric moisture on solid surfaces. This is called deposition. Temperature drop. This is also not correct. Very fine droplets. This is talking about mist and fog. This is also not correct. The amount of water vapor. Yes, this is amount of water vapor. Humidity is related to amount of water vapor present in the atmosphere at a particular time and place. This is correct. Different ways to express humidity. So, relative humidity, specific humidity, relative humidity, and it is specific humidity, absolute humidity, and specific humidity. So, relative humidity influences the likelihood of precipitation, while specific humidity indicates the actual moisture content of the air. Yes, so this statement is correct. Unlike absolute humidity, specific humidity remains constant. Yes, it remains constant as air rises or sinks, because specific humidity refers to the mass of water vapor per unit of mass. So that is a specific humidity. So both these statements are correct. C is your correct answer. Next question is regarding formation of dew. Formed when surface temperature falls below dew point. Yes, this is correct. Dew commonly forms on, no, not forms on cloudy nights. This statement is not correct. Are correct, only one is correct. Then we have 3, convectional rainfall. It typically occurs in the afternoon in the equatorial regions. This is correct. It is of short duration but intense. It usually occurs through cumulonimbus clouds. So all the 3 are correct. Regarding air masses, the question is regarding air masses. Air masses can form in tropical and polar regions. Yes, it can form. Air masses can develop over both continents and oceans. Yes, air masses develop under cyclonic conditions. No. Cyclonic conditions means instability, so air masses won't form. Air masses can influence weather conditions where they are moving, they will influence. Question is asking about not correct, only one is not correct. Atmospheric conditions, temperature above 27 degrees Celsius, significant vertical wind difference, high humidity. So 4 conditions are given, and the question is asking favorable condition for the formation of a tropical cyclone. Out of these 4, how many are favorable condition for formation of tropical cyclone? So the second one is significant vertical wind difference. This is not a favorable condition because cyclones need low vertical wind shear for proper vertical alignment. Significant vertical wind difference disturbs the structure of cyclone and weakens its development. So this is not a sufficient condition, not a favorable condition. So only 3 are. Option C will be your correct answer. Next we have in the South Atlantic and Southeastern Pacific Ocean, tropical cyclones are rarely formed. How many of the following best explains this phenomenon? Okay. So 4 reasons are being given, and the question is asking you that how many are these are the reasons behind South Atlantic and Southern Pacific Oceans. 2 reasons are being given, South Atlantic and Southeastern Pacific. Or tropical subcyclones are rarely formed in these 2 regions. Tropical cyclones rarely form in these 2 regions. What are the factors responsible that these 2 areas of Earth, these 2 regions of Earth have less number of tropical cyclones? Sea surface temperatures are generally lower than the threshold required for cyclone formation. Yes, this is correct. ITCZ does not shift over these regions. This is also correct. The Coriolis force is too weak to initiate cyclonic rotation. Is necessary to provide? Yes, that is necessary to provide. This is also correct. These regions lack sufficient continental influence to support cyclonic activity. So, continental influence is not a prerequisite for cyclone formation. Actually, this region, this is very good statement actually, this is not correct. Lack of sufficient continental influence. It is saying that these regions, South Atlantic and Southeastern Pacific Oceans, these two regions have less landmass. So, अगर less landmass है, that's why this they like to support cyclonic activity. Actually, landmass अगर ज़्यादा होता तब कह सकते थे, because landmass actually acts as a break in the cyclonic activity. So, this statement is not a correct reason to explain this. So, 1, 2 and 3, only 3. Jet streams occur only in northern hemisphere. No, this is not true. They can occur in the southern hemisphere as well. Only some tropical cyclones develop a clearly defined eye. Yes, only some, not all. The temperature inside the eye of tropical cyclone is lower. It is not lower, it is higher. So this is also not correct. Only 2 is correct. Option B is your correct answer. Characteristics of tropical cyclone. Okay, 3 characteristics are given and the question is asking which of the stages in the life cycle of tropical cyclone. 4 stages are given, 4 options are given: formation and initial stage, intensification stage, full maturity stage and decay stage. These are actually 4 stages in the life cycle of a tropical cyclone. Question is asking these 3 conditions are related to which of these stages. So actually drop in sea surface temperature, decline in atmospheric moisture, weakening of atmospheric instability. सब कुछ कम हो रहा है, everything is weakening, everything is dropping, so it will lead to decay of tropical cyclone. Tropical cyclone and regions are given. So this is Pagois is related to Philippines, not China. So this is not correct. Hurricanes, typhoons, all the 3 are correct. So 3 are correctly matched. Statement 1 says that there would be no monsoon if the earth's surface was composed entirely of either land or water. Yes. अगर सिर्फ लैंड और सिर्फ वाटर ही होता अर्थ पे तो ऑब्वियसली देयर विल बी नो मॉनसून, बिकॉज मॉनसून इज बिकॉज ऑफ variation in temperature. This variation in temperature is happening because of land and water. Monsoons are largely the result of differential heating. Yes, differential heating between land and water surfaces. So this is actually explaining this one. This is saying that there would be no monsoon. Monsoon नहीं होता अगर there will be only land or water. Why monsoon would not have happened? Because monsoons are largely result of differential heating. So this statement is explaining, 2 is explaining 1. So A is your answer. Water cycle transpiration of plant does not contribute to cloud formation. Does not. It will contribute. Transpiration, like transpiration, water is coming out because of transpiration from the leaves, so it will lead to contribute to cloud formation. So 1 is not correct. Only evaporation of surface water from rivers and oceans is responsible. No, not only evaporation is responsible. Rainfall, while let me explain, elaborate statement 2. While evaporation from river and ocean is important, but there are other aspects for cloud formation as well. For example, transpiration, sublimation, evaporation from soil. So evaporation only from surface water, river and ocean not. Evaporation can also happen from soil. Soil also have water. Then this transpiration. This is also like leads to cloud formation, that is, it is a part of water cycle. So 2 is not correct. Rainfall does not contribute to the maintenance of underground. Rainfall will obviously contribute, so this statement is also not correct. Underground water may also be connected to surface water. Yes, this is correct, because surface water seeps down to underground water. So 1, 2 and 3 are not correct. How many are not correct? 3 are not correct. Then we have next question on continental shelf and continental slope. Gently sloping submerged extension of the continent. Yes, correct. Continental slope marks the true edge of continent. The width of the continental shelf is uniform. No, it is not uniform. This is not correct. Only 2 are correct. Submarine landforms. So submarine canyons are erosional features. Yes, these are erosional features. Oceanic ridges are associated with constructive plate boundaries and are characterized by high seismic and volcanic activity. Yes, both these statements are correct. C is your answer. Oceanic ridges, Galapagos Ridge, Equatorial Pacific region, all the 3 are Scotland, Faroe Island, all the 3 are correct. Yes, so all the 3 are correctly matched, all 3. Oceanic salinity, the Red Sea and Mediterranean have higher salinity due to high evaporation and limited freshwater inflow. This is correct. Enclosed or semi-enclosed seas tend to have lower salinity. Enclosed and semi-enclosed seas have higher salinity, not lower. So this is not correct. Subtropical high pressure zones. Yes, this statement is correct. Generally show higher ocean salinity. High precipitation and river discharge increases. No, it decreases, not increases. So 4 is also not correct. Correct answer is 1 and 3. 1 and 3, no? 1 and 3, yes. It is easier to swim in sea water than in fresh water. पहले तो यही पता होना चाहिए whether it is true or not. Yes, it is true. It is easier to swim in sea water than in fresh water. The density, but why it happens? The density of sea water is higher than that of fresh water. So because of this, it is easier to swim. So this is explaining. So A will be the answer. Next we have seas and oceans are vast reservoirs of food and minerals resources for the future. Yes, they have very vast. We have to explore, still a lot has to be explored. At present, mankind has not been able to develop cost-effective technologies for the exploitation of marine resources. Yes, this is also correct. So the sea and oceans have vast reservoirs, like vast reservoirs, and we have not yet been able to explore it effectively because of lack of technologies. So this is explaining one. So again, answer is A. Planetary winds are major driving force behind the direction and speed of surface ocean currents. Yes, correct. Differences in water temperature and salinity contribute to deep ocean circulation. Yes, the rotation of the earth affects the direction of ocean currents through Coriolis force. At the very beginning we discussed Coriolis force. 1, 2 and 3 all are correct. This question is regarding oceanic currents. So cold water current, warm water current, and the name of the current. Okay, it is a warm, it is cold, it is warm, it is warm. So this Benugula is actually, these are warm, this is cold. So this is not correct. Rest are correct. 1 is correct, 2 is correct, 3 is correct. 3 are correct, only 3 are correct. Next question is on growth of coral reefs. So 4 conditions are being given over here, essential conditions for growth of coral reefs. And question is asking which of the following are essential conditions for growth of coral reefs. Availability of sufficient sunlight, yes. Clean and sediment free water, this is also correct. Sea salinity around 6% means high salinity, and high salinity is not good for corals. So that makes this is as a bad condition for coral growth. Tropical seawater with temperatures ranging between this is correct. So 1, 2 and 4 are correct answer. Next we have spring and neap tides. Question on spring and neap tides. During the neap tides, the high tide is lower and the low tide is higher than usual. During the neap tide, the high tide is lower and the low tide is higher than usual. This is correct. Neap tide, unlike spring tide, occurs on the new moon. New moon is a feature, new moon is a period related to spring tide, not neap tide. Neap tide occurs during first and third quarter phases. Okay, so neap tide does not occur during new moon. So 2 is not correct, 1 is correct. So 3 is the correct answer. C is the correct answer. 4 rivers are given over here and it is asking you to match whether they are flowing in the right place or not. Mekong River flows in the South China Sea, not Andaman Sea. Thames flows in North Sea, not Irish Sea. Okay, so these 2 are not correct. Volga, Caspian, Zambezi River in Indian Ocean. So only 2 are correct. Only 2 are correct. India was once a part of Gondwana. This question is very good one, like very basic. India was once part of Gondwana. This is correct. Gondwana included South America and Antarctica. So you should understand this. Gondwana, upper northern side Laurasia, and southern side Gondwana. And both these were part of Pangaea. Okay, so Gondwana included South America and Antarctica. This is correct. North America was also part of Gondwana. This is not correct. North America was part of Laurasia. Gondwana broke away from Pangaea. This is correct. So 1, 2 and 4, 3 statements are correct. Yes, so option C will be your correct answer. So this we have some mountain peaks and their location. So Europe, McKinley, Denali is in Africa, Elbrus, Australia, Kilimanjaro, North America. All 4 are correctly, all 4 are. Kilimanjaro is not in North America, it is in Africa. Elbrus is not in Australia, it is in Europe. And Denali is in Africa. Denali is not in Africa, it is in North America. Denali is in North America. And Kosciuszko is in Australia, not Europe. So all the 4 are not correctly matched. Question is talking about not correctly matched. So all the 4 are not correctly matched. This question is The sun is not visible in Antarctica for several months during its winter season. The sun is not visible in Antarctica for several years during its winter season. Sun is not visible. Antarctica lies within the polar circle, leading to extreme variations in daylight due to the tilt of Earth's axis. Yes, this statement is also correct. Earth, because of the Earth's axis, Antarctica means the southern polar region, is like not visible to Antarctica. Sun is not visible to Antarctica for several months during a winter season. When it is winter season in southern hemisphere, the sun is more incidental on northern part, and because of the tilt, the Antarctica, this polar circle Antarctica region is like goes without sunlight for several months. So this statement regarding tilt of the earth axis, this is actually explaining statement 1. So A is the correct answer. Then we have question on Antarctica. So mosses and lichens constitute the primary natural vegetation in Antarctica. This is correct. The emperor penguin, a well-known flightless bird, is a native to the Antarctic region. Yes, both are correct. Question is talking about not correct, so neither one nor two. Asthenosphere, it is believed to be in plastic or semi-molten condition. Yes, this is correct. It lies entirely below the mantle. No, it does not lie entirely below the mantle. Asthenosphere is like a part of the upper mantle and located below lithosphere and extends below. Saying that it lies totally below the mantle won't be correct. It is sometimes referred to as the soft zone or low viscosity zone. Yes, this is correct. So 1 and 3 are correct statements. Earth's magnetic field. It is primarily generated due to electric currents in the Earth's liquid outer core. Yes, Earth's magnetic field is related to Earth's core. The presence of magnetic materials in the mantle is the major cause. It is not the major cause. The magnetic materials in the mantle are not the major cause. Volcanic activity contributes significantly. No, this is also does not significantly contribute. So 2 and 3 are not correct. Only 1 is correct. June, December, March, September, with reference to the apparent movement of sun. Okay. So in June, the overhead Tropic of Cancer, at the start we discussed this. December, overhead Tropic of Capricorn. Cancer in northern hemisphere, Capricorn in southern hemisphere. March, overhead equator. September, overhead Arctic Circle. Is September also overhead equator? We just studied in the initial discussion is equinox and solstice. So in September is like related to equinox, and in September also the midday sun is overhead the equator. So 1, 2 and 3 are correct, only 3 are correctly matched. Next question we have Tropic of Capricorn, a high pressure area developed over northwest India. What happens in India when the sun is vertically overhead the Tropic of Capricorn? Tropic of Capricorn के ऊपर अगर sun है, means sun is more incidental in the southern hemisphere, then what will happen? A high pressure area develops in northwestern India, a low pressure area develops in northwestern India. So obviously when the Tropic of Capricorn के ऊपर अगर sun है, then it will be the winter season in the northern hemisphere. So high pressure area will be built in northwest India. So option A is the correct answer. Aravallis are older than Himalayas. Aravallis are older than Himalayas. Yes, this is the correct. But taller. They are not taller in average than the Himalayas. So this is because of the taller part, this is not correct. Pennines, Appalachians and Aravallis are categorized are old mountains, old fold mountains. Block mountains are formed primarily due to compressional forces. Block mountains are not formed due to Compressional forces, they are like created when areas of earth crust break and move along faults. So this is not because of compressional forces. This makes this not correct. The highest mountain peaks in the world are found in young fold mountain systems. Yes, young fold, higher peaks. So 2 and 4 are correct. 2 and 4 are correct. Only 2 is the correct answer. Formation of major landforms. Formation of major landforms. Plateaus are generally formed due to endogenic forces such as volcanic activity. Yes, this is correct. Plains are formed only by action of rivers. Plains can also form because of glaciers. So that makes this not correct. Valleys are typically formed by either river erosion or tectonic activities. Yes, 1 and 3 are correct. 1 and 3 are. Next is tsunami waves. So not correct. Question is talking about not correct. Tsunamis are often generated by undersea earthquakes. This seems correct. Pacific coasts are highly vulnerable. Yes, this is also correct. Tsunami waves are also correctly referred to as tidal. No. Tsunami waves and tidal waves are two different things. So this is not correct. So C will be your answer. C will be your answer. Geomorphic processes, peneplain, safe dune, Birchen. So this Birchen dune, it is related to deserts, not glacial deposition. So 3 is not correct. 1 and 2 are correct. Next we have question related to describes the formation and position of stalactites and stalagmites. Stalactites and stalagmites. It seems that there are 4 confusing statements given over here. Stalactites hang from the floor. How can it hang from the floor? So this is not correct. Stalactites and stalagmites both hang. No, both do not hang. One is from the ceiling and other from the floor. So this is not correct. Stalactites hang from the roof. Stalactites hang from the roof or ceiling, while stalagmites rise upward from the floor. So C is the correct answer. Atmospheric circulation cells. So atmospheric circulation cells are formed due to disturbances in the global pressure system. These circulation cells involve large scale vertical movement. Yes, both are correct. Global wind systems, consider the following statement. Doldrums are calm, low pressure areas near the equator. Yes. Roaring 40s are strong westerlies. Yes, both are correct. Question is asking about not correct, right? So neither one nor two. Then we have next question regarding rainfall on the windward and leeward side. Windward or leeward side. Windward slopes receive more rainfall because moist winds are forced to rise, leading to cooling and condensation. Yes. Leeward slopes receive less rainfall as the descending air becomes warmer and drier. The rain shadow effect is commonly observed on leeward side of the mountains. So all the 3 are correct. If regarding El Nino, so it often causes drought conditions in Australia, true. Associated with heavy rainfall, Peru may, true. Negatively impacts marine life, this is also correct. Contributes to coral bleaching because of the rising temperature. So all the 4 are 1, 2, 3, 4 are correct. From here on, we have current affairs related question. There is a concept very prominently in news, broad basing requirement. So actually, it is a rule that mandates a minimum number of investors in pooled investment vehicle This is correct. It seeks to prevent excessive ownership, concentration. This is also correct. Both these statements are correct. So these two statements are actually have been kept correct so that you can understand that these two are actually defining broad basic requirement very prominently in news related to economy. New fund offers, NFO is the first subscription. NFO and IPO. IPO is like first time when a share is being introduced. NFO when the first time new mutual fund scheme is being introduced. Closed-ended NFOs and open-ended. So closed-ended NFOs are typically listed on a stock exchange. Yes, this is correct. Open-ended NFOs does not allow investors buy or sell units after the NFO closes. Actually, it actually allows. So 1 and 2 are correct, 3 is not correct. Registrar General of India is responsible for conducting census, functions under Ministry of Home Affairs, and also compiles sample registration system data. All 3 are correct. A major economy imposes an additional 10% tariff on all imports from BRICS countries. So it is being referred to the imposition of tariff by the United States of America. So it imposes an additional tariff on all imports from BRICS countries. In this context, consider the following statements. It can raise import costs for consumers and industries in the imposing country. It can raise, yes, it will raise the import cost for consumers and industries in the imposing country, matlab US में. US में obviously the cost of import will increase. It could reduce the price competitiveness of BRICS. Yes, because of the increase in price, their price competitiveness will reduce. So both 1 and 2 are correct. Eklavya Model Residential School. These schools are established with the objective of imparting quality education to tribal children. Eklavya Model Schools, yes, tribal. Fully funded by Ministry of Education. Actually, it is Ministry of Tribal Affairs. So this is not correct. Each school is mandated to 6 to 12. So 1 and 3 are correct. Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. It has been in news again. So the scheme aims at comprehensive financial inclusion by integrating banking, insurance and pension services. Holders of the zero balance account, the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana provides for zero balance account, but the holders of the account become eligible automatically become eligible for direct benefit transfers. No, anyone can have zero balance Jan Dhan accounts, but not everyone is eligible for the direct benefit transfer under several schemes. To become eligible for those schemes, it is very important that the holders of the account are actually eligible for those schemes. So second is not correct. The expansion of Jan Dhan accounts has played a key role in improving the effectiveness of government subsidy delivery. Yes, this is correct. So 1 and 3, only 2 are correct. Recently, Bulgaria became 21st member to adopt Euro. This is a very good general knowledge also for you that Bulgaria became 21st member to adopt Euro. Consider the following statement in this context. What are the statements? See, it must relinquish control. Yes, it must relinquish control because if it has adopted Euro, then the European Central Bank will be handling over the monetary issues. Once a country adopts the Euro, it becomes a member of Schengen area. Schengen area is a different thing. It is not that all the Euro members are like member of Schengen areas. Adoption of Euro may influence the country's inflation. Yes, 1 and 3 are correct. Only 2 correct answer. Electoral registration officers. These are in news because of the ongoing issue of SIR going on in the state of Bihar. So EROs perform Quasi-judicial functions, yes. EROs, actually electoral registration officers, often hear the appeals regarding why someone's name is not in the electoral roll. So they have some quasi-judicial functions. They have that kind of authority. An officer designated as ERO must be a member of election commission. No, EROs are actually constituency level and district level officials. They are actually related to civil services. So not an officer need not be a member of election commission, because election commission to hardly only three members. EROs are district level officials. So this is not correct. ERO is responsible not only for preparing the rolls but also for ensuring their integrity and accuracy. As generic statement, 1 and 3 are correct, only 2 are correct. Next we have question on India Namibia. Recently, Prime Minister of India visited Namibia. That's why the question is here. India Namibia ties are rooted in anti-colonial solidarity. Correct. Namibia supplied cheetah to India under an intercontinental translocation initiative. This is also correct. The cheetahs that came to India, that were because of that were from Namibia. Namibia is India's largest trading partner in African continent. No, South Africa and Nigeria are largest. So 1 and 2, only 2 are correct. Aadhaar in India. Aadhaar is a 12-digit unique identification number issued by UIDAI. Yes, 12-digit. Aadhaar is issued only to Indian citizens and is a proof of citizenship. No, it is not a proof of citizenship. Aadhaar data includes biometric demographic. Yes, correct. Only 2 are correct. Astra missile indigenously developed. True. Equipped with indigenous radio frequency seeker. This is also true. Ground to air. Astra missile is air to air. So this is not correct. 1 and 2 are correct. Maratha military landscapes of India recently inscribed in the UNESCO World Heritage Sites. These were inscribed under cultural category. We should read the statements very carefully. So basically 3 kinds of categories: cultural, natural and mixed. So the Maratha military landscapes were inscribed under cultural category. So this is correct. All the forts inscribed under this property lie within Maharashtra. No, one of the forts also lies in Tamil Nadu. So this is not correct. The selection reflects the Maratha Empire's military, political and trade related specialized strategies. Yes, this is correct. 1 and 3. Question is asking about not correct. So only 1 is not correct. Then we have question on Aviation Accident Investigation Bureau. Aviation Accident Investigation Bureau. It functions under Ministry of Civil Aviation. This is correct. The AIB was established in compliance with obligations under, yes, Chicago Convention के अंदर ही AIB was established. Both are correct. Question is talking about not correct. So D will be your answer. Software Technology Parks of India, it was established under Ministry of Electronics Technology. Yes. Functions as a single window agency offering a statutory. This statement is talking about the functions of STPI. Functions. It primarily supports large IT corporations. No, it actually promotes not the large ones, new and emerging ones. So 1 and 2 are correct. The President of India can nominate up to 12 members to Rajya Sabha. Yes. Nominated members are selected for their contributions various fields. Nominated members enjoy all privileges of elected members except the right to vote in the election of Vice President. So, the election of Vice President and President have different procedures. Nominated members can vote in the election of Vice President but not in the election of President. Nominated members cannot vote in the election of President, but here it is saying Vice President. So Vice President के election में nominated members can vote, have the right vote. So it is saying members enjoy all privileges except. This statement is saying कि nominated members enjoy all privileges except this one. Except this one means they cannot vote in election of vice president. That is making this statement not correct. So 95, question number 95, only 1 and 2 are correct. Exercise Talisman Sabre, it has been in news. Multilateral defense exercise hosted by Australia and United States of America. The exercise focuses on enhancing interoperability. Yes, India has been a permanent participant since inception. This is not correct. Only 1 and 2 are correct. With reference to Pandharpur Yatra and Devarkari tradition, the pilgrimage is deeply rooted in the Bhakti movement and emphasizes devotion. It has historically acted as a medium of social reform. Yes, this is also true. The Palki processions during the Yatra carry the symbolic footwear Paduka of saints like Gyaneshwar and Tukaram. Yes, all the 3 are correct. 1, 2 and 3. National Commission of Minorities, a statutory body. Yes, Act of 1992. Empowered to look into specific complaints. This is also correct. As per the Constitution, these religions are defined as minorities. Constitution does not define the term minority. Constitution is not defining and not mentioning these as minorities. So 1 and 2 are correct. Only 2 are correct. Mind Developer and Operator Model, MDO model. This has been in news. Under the MDO model, the government leases the mine to a private operator who is responsible for exploration. This is actually a definition of MDO. The ownership of the mineral resources remains within the private operator. No, ownership does not remain with the private operator. This is not correct. The model is commonly used by public sector units like Coal India to increase coal production. Yes. 1 and 3 are correct. The last question of this test is related to Aspirational District Mineral Foundation Program. It seeks to improve development outcomes in mining affected districts using DMF funds. Yes, it is implemented by the Ministry of Coal. It is not by Ministry of Coal, it is by Ministry of Mines. Ministry of Mines, Ministry of Coal, Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas are 3 different ministries. You should be very much conscious about this. So only one only is the correct answer. So this way we reach the end of this discussion. We will meet again in the next discussion. Hope it was useful. Take care. All the best.